All right, the long anticipated asking out girls part 2. So, I have a few points listed out and I'm just going to cover them. There's quite a few. A lot of them, honestly, probably all of them are just advice for myself, just to be more conscious of and to keep it in my mind. Okay, so the first one, sometimes you don't think she'll say yes, but she does. If you don't ask her out, just know she could have said yes and you missed out. So, yeah, this has happened to me before where I didn't expect her to say yes. I asked for her phone number and she just says, "Oh, sure," and then writes it down, and I'm completely shocked. And after that interaction, or after I ask that, I'm completely awkward because I wasn't expecting that at all. That's how surprising it was. So, a lesson from that, the lesson that I learned is you really don't know. Like, you can assume that, like, don't say like she's out of your league, or all of these, or she'd never say yes to you just because of some arbitrary random thing that you place on yourself. There's there's just so much that goes into it, and so much you can look at a girl and see her mannerisms and kind of tell what she's like, but I would say you have like 10% insight of what she actually is like. And there's so much that you don't know. And again, you don't know her situations, if she just got out of breakup or if she has never dated before and now she's looking to date and you're the first person that has asked her out. Random things like that. You don't know the situation. So I would say, or even you don't even know her. So I would say just ask her out, and I mean, don't worry about it. Don't stress it. What I tend to stress instead is if I didn't ask her out. I would regret not asking her out rather than asking her out. I don't think I've regretted asking out a girl before, but I have regretted not asking out a girl multiple times too. So again, like you just don't know if she's going to say yes. Okay, second point. If she says no, just know she wasn't meant for you. I would, yeah, I would hold this to heart. Like, I believe in a lot of where it's like, if it was meant, if it was meant for you, it would happen. And I don't really know what that's called. I would akin it to Taoism, where it's really just the easiest path forward. And you'll find a lot of resistance if you try to go the path that you're not meant to go. And resistance to the point where you won't even be able to do it. Or if you do it, you just won't find it fulfilling. That's a general life principle, I guess. At least that's how I see it. That's how I see my life and the lives of people around me, by extension, I guess. But applying that to approaching girls, and I should also mention, this is mainly advice for approaching girls that you don't know, that you don't have a complete connection with. So, girls that, yeah, you wouldn't consider friends already. Like, yeah, I'd say mainly girls that you're unfamiliar with. Okay, so, yeah, as I was saying though, if she says no, then I honestly think that's just how it was supposed to be. And she just wasn't meant for you. There could have been so many things that there's just like, I tend to think if she's really attractive, I tend to think like that's one of the qualities that I know superficially, but there's so many qualities that I don't know. She could be an awful person on the inside, but I really don't know. And the only thing that I judge on is on looks for now. Like I'm saying, approaching girls that you don't know, the only thing you judge on is really looks and how she acts. But there's a whole different side to her that you really don't know. And if she says no, you could have honestly just dodged the bullet from her saying that. So again, I wouldn't pester you. I wouldn't be completely infatuated with a girl that you don't even know. Just move on, accept it that she said no, and there's plenty of fish in the sea. Okay, next point. You approached because she was beautiful, but she could be hideous on the inside, so don't beat yourself up over it. Literally just what I said. Yeah, I forgot I wrote that down afterwards, but that's such a big point. Don't think I need to expand on it. Next point, don't go approaching every girl you find attractive, maybe for practice to gain confidence and know what to say, but I believe you'll start giving a desperate vibe. So, yeah, if you go around approaching every single girl that you find attractive, not only will you give off a desperate vibe, I think you'll actually internalize a desperate vibe in yourself. So, what I mean by that is, let's say you approached every girl in this class, and then you go outside of the class. You go to, I don't even know, a different city, and you still have that mentality of approaching every single girl. And then the next girl you approach, I can't guarantee, but you'll act. I feel like you're more likely to act. You're more likely to give off that desperate vibe of you needing to approach every single girl that you find attractive. Now, this one's pretty loose, I guess, in the sense that you don't, like, I think you could mask it. I think you could hide your desperation, hide that desperate vibe, but you're kind of lying to yourself. Like, you're trying to make yourself desperate by asking out all these girls, in my point of view. And it's just like, you just relax. You don't have to ask out every single girl you find attractive. Just like if you see a really attractive girl, sometimes you just have to say like, wow, she's really attractive. Not gonna ask her out though. That's just like how I am. I just don't need to. I accept that she's attractive, yes, but it's okay that she's not my girlfriend in this instant, or that I didn't ask her out and see whether she would have said yes in this instant. Like, sometimes you just, I don't know, take a more relaxed approach. I don't know how else to explain it. Next point. Yeah, okay. Plan for what to say if she says no. Okay. Yeah, this I kind of touched on a bit earlier. So that one situation, I was just so shocked. She said yes, and she gave me her phone number, that I actually didn't know what to say, how to continue afterwards. So I think I ended up asking something like, yeah, luckily, no, I did clutch up. Luckily, I remembered to ask something like, hey, are you free tomorrow? Or are you free this weekend? And she ended up saying no. No, I'm pretty busy. I work tomorrow and I work the weekend. Um, but I did end up having the number, so I was like, okay, well, that's all right. I guess I'll just figure out the plan over text, because it's really, it is another thing to ask for the number and then try to set up something, but be persistent about setting up something. Like, oh, you're busy tomorrow. Oh, you're busy on the weekend. Okay, what about Monday? No, I'm busy Monday. Okay, what about Tuesday? What about at 6 p.m. tomorrow? You, it's, I think for approaching girls, you just have to take a more relaxed approach and just be, the way you take a relaxed approach is by being okay with it just not working out, with you just not getting a date. Also, yeah, so the thing is with that, I guess I said that that's what happened to me. So I was kind of confusing it. The reverse happened to me, where I wasn't expecting her to say yes. I always prepare for her to say no, but then she says yes. And so by extension, if you're not that person who you assume she's going to say yes, then maybe prepare for her to say no. Prepare for the worst case scenario, and maybe even assume the worst case. And if she says yes, then that'll boost your mood, make you happy, right? But assume the worst, and again, prepare for it. Don't make it awkward. So she says, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend, or no, sorry, I don't want to give out my number. Just say, okay, well, it was nice meeting you. I'll see you around. Thanks anyways. Really, any combination, and you just leave. Don't keep on asking her questions like, oh, okay, so what school are you in? So what major are you studying? Just, it's just much less awkward to just leave immediately and just leave it be. Okay, so this next one's pretty interesting. What's funny is Andrew Tate gave this advice, and I use it, but kind of by accident. I don't intentionally use it, just because I'm forgetful. So I'll just explain it. So basically, you ask for her name, and then you see if she asks for your name. So yeah, you'll walk up to her. You'll say, "Hey, I thought you were pretty cute. What's your name?" "Jessica. Nice to meet you, Jessica." And then I think the idea is to give a little pause, and then if she doesn't intend on asking you your name, or actually no, you can go straight into the sentence. You can go straight into like, so what are you doing here, Jessica? What are you working out today? What are you hitting today? Then yeah, you continue the conversation, and at some point, hopefully she'll ask for your name. And that's a very good sign, because it shows that she's actually somewhat interested, or at least being polite in asking your name. Now, if she doesn't even ask for your name, then you kind of get the feeling that, okay, well, she really just doesn't care too much. I'm just a nobody to her, and there's not really much interest at this point. Now, this is kind of a hint but I wouldn't say it determines whether she's interested in you, because sometimes people can just forget to ask for your name. As I guess not me, but I forget to introduce myself. I forget to introduce my name. And this isn't just for asking out girls too. It's funny because every time I meet somebody new, I just forget to say my name. And then at some point they'll ask for my name, and then I'll give it, and then we'll continue the conversation, or they'll say, "Oh, you have an interesting name, Felipe. I've never heard that name before." Hmm. Okay. Next point. Actually, okay, before I move on, there's another point of advice that Andrew Tate gives that I also use, but by accident. Or I guess like it's kind of intuitive to me, or it just feels more comfortable to me. So his advice is you don't actually, no, I don't use it. Okay, so his advice is ask for her Instagram rather than her phone number. And okay, before I go on too, like I just want to say this I didn't this advice that I learned was by literally watching a YouTube video on some guy who was doing cold approaches, and he gave the advice that Andrew Tate gave. I wasn't watching every single episode that Andrew Tate released just to see all his advice. I just happened to come across it. I'm not like a strict Andrew Tate follower. I just want to leave that out there. Okay. Moving on though. Second point, you ask for Instagram instead of her number. And the idea is it's way more casual to ask for an Instagram rather than a number. Like a number is a serious commitment. She has to really vet you, because she can't just give out her number to a random guy and the random guy, I don't know, sends it to all of his friends, or like you can do some pretty malicious stuff with a phone number. Not super malicious, but I mean, you could. Yeah, you could. Yeah, you just have to have some trust before you give a phone number. Instagram, like, what's the worst you can do? Like, follow me. Oh, but I don't even have to accept your follow. Worst case. I don't have to follow you back. Second case. Like, all of that. And asking for Instagram is pretty common too, at least at my age, where it's just to form an initial connection so that you can talk in the future at some point. So I think the main reason I don't ask for Instagram though, instead, okay, there's another bonus to this. If you ask for the Instagram, you can also see how they act online, what they're like online. So, for example, you can literally just go through their Instagram. You just go through their Instagram and see kind of what they're posting. And if they're posting thirst traps and they have, I don't know, 179 posts, do you really want to be dating a girl that's, doing that, that's acting like that online? Personally, I wouldn't. I just don't. Yeah, I would see that as a red flag. I wouldn't bother. And what's nice is you didn't have to even go on a first date to see that. Because that's kind of like a hidden side of her. You probably wouldn't even see that on a first date. You'd get to know her, but you wouldn't realize, wow, she's really desperate for attention, or really craves attention, male attention. So that's the bonus. But again, I asked for a number because it's just cleaner, it's more obvious, it's traditional. You would always ask for a number for a date. Yeah, the intention is clear. Like, why else would you ask for a phone number? You don't have Instagram? That's exceedingly rare, but possible. But you would probably start off by saying that you'd say something like, "Oh, I don't have Instagram. Let me get your phone number instead." To placate the idea that it's actually a date, that you're actually interested romantically in this person. No, when you directly ask for a phone number, it's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious that you want a date. And the other thing too, I think I wrote this at some point. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'll just skip to this one. Make your intentions clear from the start, even if a little awkward. Yeah, so saying something like, "I thought you were cute, so I had to introduce myself. What's your name?" Yeah, just being really clear that you want to ask this person out on a date. You're not trying to be friends. You want a romantic connection there. Okay, so the actual next point. If you think you'll see her again, maybe don't go directly for a number. Talk to her every time you see her, and maybe third or fourth time, when it's natural, ask if she wants to go on a date. I think this should have been placed higher up. This wasn't in order of most importance, but I think this just should have been placed at the top just to see that everything, just so that you're aware that this, everything is basically, a lot of this advice is basically reliant on this, just because how successful, like your chances of getting a number just by having a conversation rather than directly going up and saying, "Hey, what's your phone number?" It helps so much, because put yourself in the girl's perspective. There's some random guy that walks up to you, thinks you're attractive, cool, but directly asks for your phone number. Like, even if he's decently attractive, even if he's above decent attractiveness, I'm not gonna say yes just because, like, this guy could be a psychopath. I have no idea what this guy is like. This guy could be really weird, or like, there's so many things you don't know. And there's a massive gamble with just saying yes to her, just to some guy who just walked up to you. Like, anybody could have done that. So, and then on the flip side, if some guy comes up to you, starts talking, and then, like, maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes, 1 minute, has a conversation with you, and then at the end asks for your phone number, I would say yes. As long as I got the vibe that this person was actually human and not a freak, and could actually hold conversation, wasn't completely, like, I don't even know it really depend what you're looking for. Like, each girl would look for something different, I think, but on average, you just look for confidence and making sure this guy isn't a potential threat or dangerous at all. So, yeah, okay. Don't go directly for a number. Yeah, okay. When talk to her every time you see her, and maybe third or fourth time. So you start getting familiarity. She starts to know you better after the third or fourth time. One time you could do like just have one conversation and then ask for a phone number. But I mean, if you know you're going to see her again, why rush? Just the way you should approach it too is also like you want to vet her. You want to see if she's a valid partner for you as well, rather than just throwing yourself out there and hoping that she'll accept you as a partner. You actually have to be mindful that she could just be not good for you, not what you want. So being at least somewhat selective is good, I would say, as a male. Yeah. I also put in brackets when it's natural. So third or fourth time when it's natural, ask if she wants to go on a date. Again, don't force it when it's natural. Like you'll know if you kind of force it. The thing that I was going for, what I mainly meant was something like all of these situations are going to be in the gym because that's just all I can really think about. I can only think about the gym. So yeah, something like you're walking out of the gym and she's walking in. I guess no, you could still pull that off. I was thinking more something where she's, I don't know, she's in the stretching room and oh no, okay, even worse. You're working out, I don't know, with the dumbbells, and then she's right about to leave, and then you drop the dumbbells, run over to her right before she leaves the door, through the door, and then you ask her, you say like, "Oh hey, what's going on? Oh you're going. Oh see you later. Oh before you go though, let me ask your number." maybe maybe like just wait another time. Don't do it when it's that awkward. That's what I mainly meant when it's natural. So I don't know, you're working out beside each other, or the situation that I was actually going to give, where you're leaving the gym and she's just coming in. You could have a mini conversation, and then you could ask. I think I think the naturalness is mainly a proximity thing. When you're actually really close together, when you just happen to be close together, you just happen to walk by her, you just say hi and then you continue the conversation. That's when it makes the most sense. Okay, next point. Don't get in your head. Don't overthink how ugly you are. Honestly, this is more for me because I struggle a lot with this. Yeah. Okay. Man, so true. Don't get in your head about how ugly you are. Now, I'm not saying you're ugly. I'm saying that you might think you're ugly. And I think you just have to dismiss those thoughts. The other thing, maybe this is of consolation. So, guys will rank girls on average. No, sorry. Not even guys. Girls on average are objectively seen as more attractive than guys. So, girls on average would be like, I think it's like a 7. I don't know how you really quantify that. Around a 7 in terms of like from a 0 to 10 attractiveness scale. And then guys would be like 5. Solid 5. The average would be a 5. Yeah. So, all that to say, you don't have to look perfect. You don't have to look, you know, super attractive. As long as you're As long as you put in effort to look attractive, to take care of yourself, to be hygienic, to take care of your body. I mean, a lot of people say girls will notice and you're good. Now, there's also the situation where I'm just going to say it, you're just straight up ugly. I think, I mean, yeah, it's really, that would be a tough situation. I think I'm going to be honest. If you're ugly, I feel like you'll know if you're ugly. If you're ugly, maybe don't go for cold approaches. Build a friendship first with a girl and then try to build something more from that. Build a romantic interest from that. But if you're ugly, it'll be very hard to have a girl find you immediately attractive. Even if you work out, I think, like, working out, I think people blow out of proportion, overthink how important working out is in terms of getting a girl. Like, working out can't fix your face. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it objectively. And okay, I want to stress this also. Like, you'll think, like, there's some people that'll think they're ugly, but you're actually not. Like, if you're ugly, you'll know. Like, people will shun you just for simply being ugly. If you're not ugly, you'll probably be you'll be like, am I ugly? But you won't be fully confident that you're ugly or you're attractive. You'll be on the fence and you'll be thinking like, I might be ugly. Yeah, I have parts of me that are ugly, but I might not be ugly. I might be somewhat attractive. That's a sign that you're probably not ugly. You're probably just fine. And you're being pretty critical. I think, yeah, it's also hard to get a measure of how attractive you are. Because you can't just ask people. And even if you ask somebody and they answer honestly, part of it is subjective, but also I think if you get that somewhat objective measure, it might just screw up your self-esteem. So you don't have to know. I don't have to know. I'm fine with not knowing how attractive I am. And okay, so part of it that I also wanted to mention, don't overthink how ugly you are. You know yourself really well. So big part for me is like, I'll be really conscious of my dark circles under my eyes. And I'll get in my head about that a lot. And I think there's other things, like I can tell that I have a big nose, like a bigger than average nose, a bigger nose than I would like, I guess. I'm fine with the nose that I have, but I'm saying, like, if I wanted to be peak attractive, I would probably need a smaller nose, a somewhat smaller nose. But I think you just can't, like, you can't care about that. You can't, things that you can't change, just accept them. And like, that's just how you are. It's okay if you have a bigger than average nose, or if you have dark circles under your eyes, even though you get I swear, even though I get like 9 hours of sleep on average, or like 8.5, I get sufficient amount of sleep. I get good amount of sleep, but I still have dark circles. That's just how I am. That's just genetic. There could be treatments that I take to change that, like skincare routine all the way, but I you don't need to. That's just how you are. It's okay to have that. Yeah, so don't get in your head about thinking how ugly you are. That's the moral of the story, at least for that point. Okay, last point. Be proud of yourself for doing it, even if you fail. The biggest battle is against yourself. Oh man, that's pretty deep. Yeah, take pride in having asked out a girl. Don't care whether she said no. Like, too bad for her. Her loss. Take pride in the fact that you were able to overcome your fear. You could accept rejection, accept failure, and um and just, yeah, like that'll make you more resilient. That'll make you better, I think. It'll improve you. I think to finally end this off though, that was the last point, but I would add, I guess, in addition to one of the other points, I was saying don't ask out every single girl you find attractive. Don't go all out. Like, again, as I said earlier, take a relaxed approach. Like, there are just going to be some girls that are attractive, and you recognize that they're attractive, but they don't have to be your girlfriend immediately. They don't in that instant or ever. Just accept that there are attractive girls that you're just not going to have dates with. That's okay.